Hello, Moon Travelers. Today we are going to be talking about what crops to plant during each season. And I'm going to try and do like early game and then like late game, both scenarios. And I'll try and keep it simple for you guys, but it's going to be a little hard mixing the late game and the end game. And I am going to be covering like your first year and then like your second year, what you should be doing. So yeah, let's get on into it. So for spring, which is like your starting season, you should basically be planting everything on your first year, really, just everything. But definitely lily pads, because you're gonna want to heal up your spirits after battle, so these help. Cattails are really good early on for speed. Then you got your stone fruit, of course, for stamina. This is kind of why I'm saying like just get everything right off the bat on spring season, because you're gonna make use of all this. Flax flowers for taming your spirits. Then once you get access to the fire islands, you get a little bit better taming stuff. Hot peppers, these are from the fire islands, you get better vitality. Bolts are really good speeds. Definitely plant as much of the bolts that you can for speed buffs. Nimbus is actually really good for power too as well. These are on electric islands. These are on psychic islands. Endgame, you're going to want to plant as much magic mushrooms as possible. These are the best in the game for stamina wise. But honestly, late game, you don't worry about stamina all too much, because you accumulate a lot of stamina through the trees, through the dungeons that give you permanent stamina. So this is kind of optional if you want to plant a bunch on your second year with these. Yarrow, these are really good to plant too, for HP. Then let's move on into the other chest. You don't really need to plant really much of any of these ones. The bloodroots, I would plant a ton of these, because either these are going to be good for endgame. So once you're caught up on everything else and you're going on your second year, I would definitely like plant a ton of these, because these are going to be good for endgame. And just ignore the -5 speed, you can bypass that. I'll make another video explaining buffs and debuffs and all that stuff later, but not in this video. Spirit Bane, just plant a little bit of these. So your second, and that's going to be it for all the crops that you can plant. So your second year, you're going to definitely want to plant a bunch of bolts, maybe a little bit of stamina, depending on like how active you are out in the world doing stuff. Then probably Yarrow for HP, because by the time like you're through, like if you get to winter, you're probably going to be running low on HP stuff. Maybe it depends on how much you battle and stuff, but yeah, second time around, definitely the bolts, and maybe a little bit of stamina on some Yarrow. Alright, so let's move on into fall. Fall is going to be the big one, because a lot of the good stuff starts to pop up. Or, I'm sorry, this is summer, not fall. Excuse me. So, plant a little bit of these, plant a little bit of these. These are not as good as the spring ones, but if you want some stamina, you can plant a little bit of those. Pinwheels. You don't have to go crazy on pinwheels. Flame roots, we got from spring, we got better speed, so you don't have to worry about that. Hot air, I would definitely plant a lot of these, for just because it's easy HP and XP foods, or not foods, but plants or whatever. So yeah, I would plant a lot of these. Your zap plants, definitely plant a lot if you're running low on power from your spring. Stunflowers, good for some tame if you're running low on tame food. Wing fruit, these are endgame. You're going to want to plant as millions of these as possible, depending on how active you are in battling and all that stuff. This is your best power food. And your prickly plants are going to be your best speed food. So plant is a ton of these as well too. So both of these really good. So this covers your best power, and this covers your best speed in the game. Then let's move on into, oops, you didn't see that. Let's move on into these ones. So yeah, you don't have to plant much of these. These umbrella shrooms, you don't need to plant as much as these. These are on the psychic island. I would definitely, it's gonna be hard to squeeze these in because you're gonna be needing the power and the speed ones. So if you can squeeze these in, because if you're running low on tame. Now after you're done with everything else and you're on your second year, go with the XP. As you can see, I went a little crazy on the XP a little bit, but yeah, so that should cover the summer. Summer is gonna be your big year, so because there's just a lot of stuff to plant. But yeah, let's get on into fall. So fall's coming around. Squash is okay if some reason you're still running on a stamina. I guess go for some squash. The apples are good for some more HP food. Flag flowers, I like. These are easy to plant and they're I believe they're reharvestable. Yeah, reharvestable. I would plant quite a lot of these. That way you don't have to worry about tame food for a while, and they're just, you can plant them just easily. You don't need to make holes or anything. You can plant this in the water. You don't really need to plant any fuzzballs. Just if you want to collect some, go ahead and plant some. Grumpkin, you don't need these at all. Spiky plant, these are good for, never mind, they're not good. Coalberries, definitely plant a lot of these if you want some HP food. Heat plants, plant a lot of these because +4 vitality is pretty good. Electrocones, plant a lot of these if you want some power. But yeah, these are for early game. But late game you are gonna want to transition into these. And in my buff video, I'll go into more detail about that. So, where were we? Oh yeah, electrocones. So yeah, get a bunch of those. Planterns, get a bunch of these if you're running low on speed buffs. And then let's move on into, okay, go on, select the chest. Whoopsies. Alright. Then we have the Spectre Flower. I would say plant a lot of these for some easy taming stuff. But I mean, you're already gonna have a bunch of the flags. But it's up to you if you want to do that or not. I mean, the plus side is whoever you're trying to tame is gonna have -2 speed, so it might help you out like a tiny bit. And then we got the skeleton plant. Plant a little bit of those. And then will-o-wisp, your second year you're going to want to plant a bazillion of these, just because it's really good XP and you can mass produce it. So definitely do that. Then we got the ghost shroom. I'm currently planting a bunch of these right now. But these are going to be your best HP food in the game, so definitely go crazy for these as well. And of course, I made a bunch of the XP ones. So winter hits. This is where things get a little interesting. When it hits, you're gonna get access to some HP food. Keep in mind, when winter is here, you have to plant everything in the greenhouse to grow stuff. So it's a tough call to make for a greenhouse, because it depends on what you're running low on. But I mean, if you do need HP food, then go for the snowman's. Stamina, I mean, you should have a bunch of magic mushrooms, so you don't really have to worry about stamina. Chill berries, you don't really need any of these. Crescent plants are really good. Bulb shroom, these are good if you want some cheap buffs. But once again, you gotta plant it through the, either collect it through the world or plant it through the greenhouse. Popcorn plant, nothing too special here. Set plants, these are good for throwing on enemies. Fake flowers are good for throwing on enemies as well. Sweater plants, you are going to want to try and mass produce these. Well, actually, no, don't do that. These little bits of these you want to do. There's better armor stuff, and I'll get to it in a little bit. But yeah, ruby plant. These are okay if you want some quick buffs, but they're not the best. Alright, so and then we get into... Wait, that's all my seeds. I'm sorry. Alright, then we get into the black pearl. These are decent, but they're not as good as your wing fruits. Then we get into icicle roots. These are going to be your best endgame for armor, so you are going to want to plant and prioritize these for armor. Best in slot for armor. Gift plants, these are going to be your best XP plants, but once again, you can only use these in the greenhouse, so you can't mass produce them. And then we got your best taming flowers, which are the snowdrop flowers. So both of these are really good, but you can only do it through the greenhouse, which is unfortunate. That's why, instead of really going for... I know it's a lot of XP, and you can get a total of 1500 XP, but it takes so long. When, if you're in fall, you could just mass produce a bunch of the will-o-wisp. So I would just make a bunch of the tame ones, because taming, you're definitely going to want the taming ones to make it easier, especially if you come across the hollow. Trust me, you're going to wish you had a bunch of these. So that should be about it for every season of what you should be doing. So let me just cover real quick, if it's your second year, what you should be doing. Second year, just get a bunch of bolts, get a little bit of healing, and a bunch of blood roots. These are going to be pretty nice for your vitality. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it for that. And then I move on into summer once again. You're going to want to do bazillion wing fruit, bazillion prickly plants. And then you're going to want to just mass produce a bunch of these, the eye berries. And then in fall, you are going to want to, whatever you're kind of low on, I would say, I mean, you should be good on everything else, really, by this time. But I would go into XP, just so you can level up your tames a little more. Then, actually, let me go back into that. Probably get some more powers, and I'll explain later on in my potion video of why you should probably get that. Yeah, second year, pretty much just a bunch of will-o-wisp. You want to prioritize will-o-wisp. Then in winter, I mean, you're limited to what you can really do in winter, so you just gonna have to go with whatever you're missing, really. That should cover about everything. Hopefully, this gives you guys an idea of what to plant and what to grow and what to stock up on. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.